Okay, here's something to think about.
Uh,
Well, what if I told you that your thoughts weren't just, invisible whispers in your mind,
hmm
but actual blueprints, like for your reality?
That's a powerful idea. Really grabs you, doesn't it?
It does, and that's what we're diving into today, how we move past just, well, wishing or wanting things,
Right.
and actually learn to consciously create using intention.
And intention really is the starting point, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Any major achievement, any big change,
Mm.
it starts with that spark, that intention.
It's planting a seed.
Exactly like planting a seed.
Hmm.
It's essential for anything to grow. Think about uh, Edison and the light bulb. That wasn't just a passing fancy.
No, definitely
It
not.
was a solid intention, a commitment. That's what fueled all that work. Or, Oprah, her intention to rise above her own pain and help others, that shaped everything.
It became our whole platform.
It did. So yeah, intention is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of manifestation.
It really is like the first domino then. You need that initial push, that clear intention, or nothing else happens.
Precisely.
And what's fascinating is that apparently our brains are kind of set up for this.
They really are. There's this thing called the reticular activating system, the RAS.
The RAS, right?
Yeah, and it basically acts like a filter. We're bombarded with information constantly.
Totally. Overload.
Well, the RAS filters it based on what we tell it is important. So when you set a really clear intention, you're essentially programming that filter.
Okay, so that explains the red car thing.
You know that one.
Yeah.
You decide you want a red car, maybe you intend to buy one.
And suddenly they're everywhere.
Exactly. Not because there are more red cars, but because your brain, thanks to your intention, is now actively looking for them. It's filtering for red cars.
So vague intentions lead to vague results because the filter doesn't know what to look for.
You got it. Clarity is absolutely crucial. If your focus is fuzzy, well, your RAS doesn't have clear instructions.
Makes sense. So how do we get that sharp focus? How do we move from, say, I'd like things to be better to a really powerful intention?
Well, that brings us right to the first key step.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity is power. You need specifics.
Okay.
That vague idea, like, I want success,
Yeah.
it's just not potent enough.
So instead of just, I want success, which could mean anything,
Right.
you need something like, I intend to earn, say, 1 lakh rupees a month doing something I love, and I intend to achieve this within 6 months. Something that specific.
Yes. See how different that feels? It shifts from a fuzzy wish to something almost like a goal, a commitment, a plan, like you
It
said.
really does. It feels much more concrete. It makes you think, okay, what would that actually involve?
Exactly. It forces you to define it. So take a moment, you listening right now.
Yeah.
What's an intention you could clarify for yourself? Really nail it down.
Yeah, get specific. It requires really looking at what you want, doesn't it? And being honest.
Definitely. Okay, so once you have that crystal clear intention,
Mm.
what's next? What gives it the juice?
The few.
Yeah, the fuel. And that's emotion. Emotion is the fuel for manifestation.
So it's not just thinking it, it's feeling it.
Yes. You need to connect with it on a visceral level. Intellectually knowing your intention isn't quite enough.
So you visualize it like it's already happened
Hmm.
and really tap into those feelings. The joy, maybe the freedom, the abundance, whatever it is.
You got it. Feel it in your body.
Huh.
Let yourself experience the feeling of that reality now. It sends a really strong signal.
Okay, clarity first, then infuse it with feeling. Makes sense. But we can't just sit around feeling good, right?
Haha, right. That brings us to step 3. Intention needs action. You have to anchor it in the real world.
We have to participate.
We do. And interestingly, it's often the small, consistent daily actions that really matter. They demonstrate your commitment.
Little habits.
Yeah. If you intend to be a great speaker, maybe you practice vocal exercises for just 10 minutes a day. If you want more peace, maybe you actually meditate for 5 minutes each morning.
So those small steps are like saying, yes, I'm serious about this.
Exactly. They reinforce the intention. So think about your intention. What's one small, manageable action you could start doing consistently, even today?
Something practical.
And this leads to a really important, maybe slightly counterintuitive point. Step 4.
Okay.
You need to detach from the how.
Ooh, that's the tricky one. We always want to control how things happen, the exact path, the timeline.
I know, it's human nature. But focusing too much on the specific how can actually block things. Your job is to hold the intention, the what and the why, with clarity and feeling.
And then trust the process. Trust that the how will reveal itself.
Exactly. Trust the universe, your subconscious, whatever resonates with you. Let go of needing to micromanage the unfolding. Miracles often look like ordinary steps when you look back.
That's true. The path isn't always linear. Okay, so clarity, feeling, action, and detachment from the specific outcome.
Mhm.
Is there like a daily practice we could use to embed this?
Yes, there's a really lovely, simple morning ritual I recommend. Try it for 21 days.
Okay, I'm listening.
Before you grab your phone, before the day pulls you in, just place a hand on your heart, take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
and say aloud, "Today, I intend to align with my highest path. I am open, I am focused, and I trust the process."
Simple. Today, I intend to align with my highest path. I am open, I am focused, and I trust the process.
I like that. Feels grounding.
It really is. Just notice how your energy shifts when you start the day with that clear, trusting intention.
I can imagine. Do you have a story of this in action, someone who really lived this?
I do, actually. There's a story about an artist in Mumbai. He was really struggling, like seriously struggling financially, barely affording supplies.
Oh, okay.
But he had this incredibly clear, unwavering intention. He saw his art hanging in galleries, major galleries all over the world.
Despite his current reality being the total opposite.
Completely. And people around him doubted him, told him to be realistic. But he held on to that vision, that feeling of it being real.
So what happened? Did it work?
It absolutely did. It took time, about 5 years of consistent work holding that intention. 5 years. Okay. Persistence.
Yes. But now, his art is shown in galleries globally. It wasn't luck. It was the intention, the clarity, the emotion, the consistent action, even when things looked impossible.
That's incredible. It really shows how intention can be like your inner compass, right? Guiding you even when everything outside looks stormy or confusing.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's your guide. When you feel lost or powerless, reconnecting with your core intention reminds you of your direction. It reminds you that you're a co-creator, not just.
Not just a passenger.
Exactly. You're not just reacting to life. You're actively shaping it. Remember that quote. You're not unlucky. You're just unfocused.
Ooh, that hits home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The universe, or whatever you want to call it, responds to clear signals. And that signal is your focused intention.
So this is maybe why just having a vision board or saying affirmations sometimes doesn't cut it if the intention isn't clear and energized.
That's often the missing piece. Intention isn't just a vague wish. It's direction plus energy. Think of it like setting a destination in your GPS.
Right, you need to know where you're going.
And you need to, actually start the car and drive. Intention aligns your thoughts, feelings, and actions. They all point the same way.
Without that clear destination, you can have the best car, a full tank of gas.
But you'll just drive around aimlessly?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that lack of clarity, that's what trips so many people up.
So they do the visualizations, they say the words.
But the underlying intention is fuzzy, or maybe they don't truly believe it, or their actions contradict it. And then the results are, well, disappointing.
So it really boils down to this. You don't attract what you just want. You attract what you intend with that clarity and that emotional commitment.
Precisely. That's the core of it. The difference between people who seem to manifest things easily and those who struggle often lies right there. The strength, clarity, and conviction behind their intention, backed up by how they actually live.
And we talked about the brain's role earlier with the RAS. How declaring that intention with feeling actually gets our brain's attention. Yes, it literally primes your brain. It tells the RAS, hey, this is important. Scan the environment for anything related to this.
So if your intention is about abundance,
Your RAS starts filtering for abundance. You start noticing opportunities, ideas, connections, even subtle shifts in your environment that align with abundance, things you might have completely missed before.
it's like tuning your radio dial to a specific frequency.
Perfect analogy. Your intention tunes the dial. Okay, so let's just quickly recap those 4 steps again just to crystallize them.
Good idea.
First, decide with bold clarity. Really write it down. And write it as if it's already true. Like, I am building a thriving online business.
That gives me freedom and joy.
Yeah.
Present tense.
Yes. Second, infuse it with emotion. Spend just a couple of minutes each day really visualizing it, feeling those positive emotions. Joy, relief, excitement, whatever fits.
Feel it like it's real.
Third, act like it's already true. Make choices today that align with the person you're becoming, the person who has achieved that intention.
Walk the talk.
Exactly. And fourth, let go of the timeline. Detach from the specific how and when. Trust the process. Stay committed to the what and why, but let the how unfold.
Trust is key there. And you also mentioned a quick daily intentional practice beyond the morning ritual.
Yeah, another simple thing is just a quick journal entry each morning. Just write, My intention for today is to align with my purpose, act with courage, and trust in my path.
Setting the tone again.
Yes. And then try to carry that energy, that intention with you throughout the day. Let it guide your reactions and choices.
Okay, I feel like we're getting a really solid grasp on this. You had one more story, right? About someone moving from chaos to clarity.
Yes, one more.
Yeah.
A young guy really hated his job, felt totally adrift, no real plan B in sight.
Sounds familiar for many people.
Right. But he formed this really strong, clear intention. He wrote it down. I intend to live a life of purpose through creativity. That was it.
Simple but powerful. What did he do?
Well, he didn't quit his job immediately. But every single day, fueled by that intention, he committed to writing. Just writing and sharing it online, even if nobody was reading it first.
He took that consistent action. Step 3.
He did. He acted as if he was already living that creative life, even in small ways.
And the outcome.
Within about a year, his intention literally became his reality. His creative work started generating income, it became his full-time focus, and he found that deep sense of purpose he was craving.
Wow. All starting from that one clear intention and the daily actions aligned with it.
It really shows the power, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't overnight magic,
Yeah.
but it was a direct result of setting and honoring that intention.
It really drives home the main message here, then. Intention isn't passive. It's an active decision to shape your life, not just react to whatever happens.
Absolutely. When you really learn to harness intention,
Mm.
you shift from kind of chasing after things you want.
To actively creating them. You become the architect.
Beautifully put. You become the architect of your reality.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the real question for everyone listening, for you, is this. What am I truly intending today, right now? Because the answer to that question, well, that's the first step. That's the beginning of your future.
It really is. Your whole journey of conscious creation starts with that single, clear, conscious intention, something to really sit with.